Good morning and welcome to the Frontiers of Knowledge segment of Dr. Lamba's Awakening Call. Can you imagine that you have certain organs in your body of which you are not even aware? If I should tell you that your mesentery is not okay, how would you react? And let me tell you, till recently nobody, and when I say nobody, I include the doctors and everybody, even knew that we have this organ. And this is an organ without which we cannot live. Mesentery, and don't confuse it with dysentery. There is a digestive tube in the body extending from esophagus to the anal canal. And it is composed of wall with four layers. From the inside out, the mucosa, submucosa, muscular extra, and serosa. But what holds this tube in place is mesentery. Now, of course, I fully agree that it will never have a rock star status of organs like heart, liver, lungs, and joy. But when this organ inside body was discovered, then it was created that this is a band of tissues in the digestive system that begins in the pancreas, continues to the small intestine, colon, and all these organs are in place because of this. And this also makes, in addition to the organs, and today with the discovery of this organ, the total number of organs in human body is 79. That means 21 more organs and we'll have a century of organs. Amazed, are you? I am. Now, as a matter of fact, the research started beginning in 2012 when the University of Limerick in Ireland determined that mesentery is a self-contained organ. And before that, they were aware of the mesentery, but they thought that, say, composed of multiple attached pieces rather than functioning as a continuous organ. And imagine an organ which sustains other organs was never identified, never deemed to be an organ. And it performs a very critical function. It keeps the gut in place and by attaching it to the abdominal wall. So, it is also where all the abdominal organs develop, and it doesn't happen properly during the fetal movement. All kinds of things go wrong. As I said, you cannot live without it. Without this support, the intestine may twist and collapse, which can cause issues with death and blocking of blood vessels. Then another thing, lymph nodes are also located in mesentery. And that's important because these nodes, which are in the mesentery, help the body fight the infection. They are the places which contain immune cells and help trap virus, bacteria, everything. So imagine you don't have mesentery and you cannot control bacteria. What would happen? Lastly, it's the only organ which produces C-reactive protein. And this protein is a warning shot of sorts that the body is experiencing inflammation. So the doctors, the medical attendants can easily identify by detecting this protein and you can be saved. Isn't this fairy tale coming true? That we have organ in the body which plays a very pivotal role, and unfortunately we are not even aware of it. And now, unfortunately now, we are aware of it. And it helps the doctors identify more easily, more reliably our problems. And these days, we have a major issue. We are always concerned about pollution. And the poor blame comes to the exhaust. Now, if I was to tell you that the exhaust fumes are polluting, I'm not right, but the pollution is minuscule. And now the tests have shown that the pollution of the car tires is 2000 times worse from the exhaust, and as the cars increase from those small cars, Volkswagen, small Beetle, and Fiat 600 on, and now the bigger and bigger cars and SUVs and trucks, the toxic particles from the tire wear are 2000 times worse than the exhaust. Emission from the tailpipes in the developed countries is much lower in the cars, especially in the new cars. But these tires is not at all being controlled, and nobody has even thought of that. As I said, 2 times more particle pollution is produced by tire wear than is pumped out of the exhaust. And these tires particles pollute air, they pollute water, they pollute soil. It's a three-pronged attack. An exhaust will pollute only air. It will not pollute water. It will not pollute soil. And not only that, this pollution causes cancer. It's carcinogenic in nature. And this shouldn't be an object of attention as far as the regulators are concerned. Now, air pollution causes millions of early deaths every year globally. And the requirement for better filter has reduced particle emission from tailpipes, and it's much lower. But has anybody paid attention to the tire particles? Nobody. Not even Europe, which prides itself, not even America. The tests have revealed that the tires produce more than 1 trillion ultra-fine particles for each kilometer driven. 1 trillion ultra-fine particles. Imagine it. You cannot even count it. And it's for every kilometer. And these are emitted and are of special concern to the health, as their size means they can enter organs via the bloodstream. You inhale them. So your whole body inside becomes a storehouse of pollutants. And this is regulated neither in USA nor in European Union, which pride themselves in the regulations. And according to Nick Molden at Emissions Analytics, and it's an independent emission testing company that did the research, and he says tailpipes are now so clean that pollutants, even if you are starting with flesh, you wouldn't bother. But the initial estimate, and this is initial, the actual estimate may be much more. And they say that we are releasing 300,000 tons of tire rubber in UK and USA, only in these two countries. 300,000 tons of pollutants being released in the two countries. Imagine how much it would be globally. Don't you think that this is an evil giant from the fairy tales come to haunt us? And then imagine, if I was to ask you, how big is a plant, which is the largest plant in the world? It's a weed. It's called ribbon weed. Do you know how long it is? 180 kilometers. It is found in Shark Bay area in Australia. And as I said, this spreads 180 kilometers which is equal to 20,000 football fields. When I read about it, I was really thinking, am I living in this world, and why is it that we are not up here? And this is the world's largest plant. It has been discovered at the west coast of Australia, and it stretches, length is 180 kilometers, and it stretches 150 kilometers. So the plant would grow from Mumbai to Pune in India. And that's not only the remarkable thing is. Now it was discovered by the researchers from the Flinders University and the University of Western Australia. And this plant is 4,500 years old. And they say that this plant is the largest plant identified till today. And what's remarkable about this? As I said, it covers 20,000 hectares. Now, if this is the largest plant, what will be the second largest? This is in Utah, in USA. And this plant covers 43.6 hectares. So ribbonweed, and second is colonial colony of aspen trees. There is one aspen tree in Utah covering 43.6 hectares. But Indians always say, well, how can we be behind? So India has the third largest tree in the world. This is the great banyan tree in Botanical Gardens, Calcutta. And one tree covers 1.41 hectares. So these are the three largest trees in the world. Now the point which arises is, if this, I am coming to the Shark Bay ribbon plant, ribbonweed, how come it's just been discovered? We knew that the seagrass is there. This is one, but we never knew that it's one single plant. So the researchers were interested what they thought was a meadow, because they wanted to study the genetic diversity. And then they found that it's not a meadow. This 100 kilometers and 150 kilometers is just one plant. The team sampled seagrass shoots from across the Shark Bay, and they generated a fingerprint using 18,000 genetic markers. And the answer was mind-blowing. This was just one plant, had expanded over 100 to 80 kilometers in Shark Bay, making it the largest plant in the world. But then the question is, how did it survive so long? 4,500 years back. It was in Harappan era, a plant took root in Shark Bay. Then it kept spreading, overcoming everything in the way, and here we are today. Now, ribbonweed rhizomes can usually grow to around 35 centimeters per year. And calculating 35 centimeters per year, they calculated is 4,500 years ago. They started. And Shark Bay area sees fluctuations in temperature, salinity, gets a lot of light, and this weed has managed to survive and is a marvel to look at. And next time, if ever, I love to see this plant. So, is it enough? No. We are fond of cooking in our non-stick utensils. We are fond of cooking in stainless utensils, and all that is harmful. There are toxic chemicals in them. Incidentally, before I close down, yesterday I talked of slugamy, day before, and one marrying yourself. I think this is the only plant in the world which has indulged in polygamy. It breeds itself. There is no other pollen. So this is a rare, oldest champion of polygamy, this plant, 4,500 years back. Now, if I was start coming to the utensils, the toxic elements we are aware in the coated non-stick we were aware. But then we thought that the new ones, PFT, is forever chemical coating, but then we forgot that it contains cadmium, nickel, chromium, and nanoparticles. And that is harmful. The only good cookware for cooking is either cast iron or earthen pots, which are used in India. Now, carbon steel is similar to cast iron and it's a lot like, but the problem with them is they act with the acidic food and leach some acid while cooking them. Is iron leaching safe? In short, is yes. But if it's accessory, it's potentially harmful and cause heart trouble. But still better than the non-stick ones, which are. And the recommended dietary load allowance for men is 8 millimeter, but a typical iron supplement contains 45 milligrams of iron. But acidic foods, if they are cooked like spaghetti sauce, would make it a poison. Stainless steel, people used to think is great. It's made of iron. But then there's a thin layer of chromium oxide to prevent the iron from bleaching. And 70% of the stainless steel includes nickel and chromium, which can leach to the food, especially when tomato sauce is cooked after a long period. And it's extremely harmful. So, these cookwares, especially the non-stick wares with PTFE, PFOA, and PFCs, they are the cause of the heart trouble, and 90% of the heart troubles which are caused are because of the food cooked in these non-stick pans. Even aluminium cookware is a great heat conductor, but it reacts with the salty food and with the acidic food. So even that's not harmful. And I said the beginning, the ideal would be the cast iron, but copper is a catalyst of cookware. No problem with the copper is it's toxic to ingest. So what they do is, and the Indians and the Pakistanis would be aware of that, the copper plants are always having a coating of, a lining of sometime, what they say tinning. So that tinning process, you heat it, apply tin, and then rub it, that prevents you. So this old process of tinning, which was carried out, was great. Then ceramic coatings are still better, and they do not cause any ailment. So this is what we have got to be clear. Every new technology which is promised and propagated may not necessarily be as miraculous as advertised. It may in fact be dangerous to you. And old is gold. Let's not forget that. And that was true and that continues to be true today. So these fairy tales, three of them, and one exposure of the modernity, is quite an addition to our knowledge, an enhancement of the frontiers of knowledge. Meet you next week to discuss new path-breaking discoveries or inventions. Thank you.